Whakatu naro naro te tangata, Toitū te whenua. As man disappears from sight, the land remains.
Place names guide our present and future, unveiling cultural history and identity. Māori names tell stories of creation, ancestors and exploration. Restoring them aligns with Te Reo Māori revitalisation and strengthens national identity. These names ground us in the whenua, connecting us to our roots and celebrate Aotearoa New Zealand's unique identity. In this episode, we return to Ōtepoti, exploring the names of the Tauraka waka in the Ōtākou harbour. With the help of a prominent Kai Tahu figure, we will share the deep history of Dunedin and the stories tied to its Te Reo Māori traditional names.
Tēnā koutou, koutou e whakarongo ana ki tēnei wahine, pahu ana, ko wai au, he uri ahau no Ōtākou, ko Kai Tahu ka te māmoi waitaha ka iwi, ko pōle taku ingoa, tēnā koutou. Ko taku mahi, he kai whakahaere o tō tātou rautaki reo Māori mo te iwi. So I'm currently the manager of Kotahi Mano Kaika, Kotahi Mano Wawata, which is the iwi Māori language revitalisation strategy. Tauraka simply means like a landing place. So Tauraka waka is a boat landing, a place where we would draw our waka upon the shore. There were many settlements, especially around the harbour. So there would have been numerous tauraka waka, but one that particularly comes to mind is Toitu. So that's right in that exchange area where the Toitu stream would have run down to the foreshore, and that was a well-known tauraka waka in traditional times, but especially during those first encounters with the first European coming into and establishing themselves in that Dunedin city area. So our whānau would come from our various settlements in Kaika around the Ōtākou Peninsula, and they would come into Ōtepoti, or what's known today as Ōtepoti, or the township, and draw their waka up into that exchange area, and really, to exchange kai, so that that bartering system, they're supplying food and provisions for those early Pākehā settlers. So truly it has been an exchange for many generations. There's some early accounts describing our whānau coming up the harbour, bringing maka or barracuda and other resources for exchange, and so they would come in and set up camp, if you like, and they would overturn their boats or their waka and sleep underneath their waka.
Another well-known tauraka waka was Ōtepoti, situated in the upper Dunedin harbour where the city of Dunedin now resides. Ōtepoti was a common landing place for waka before the arrival of Pākehā. Today, the name Ōtepoti is used to refer to the whole of Dunedin.
There's been a lot of debate around what that name means. Some might suggest that it meant of the boats, but for our people, when we look at the shape of that bay, it had almost like corners, and so if we think of the poti, which was a little receptacle for storing food, so we liken it to that. So we think that perhaps it was named in relation to the shape and the nature of that receptacle.
Ōtākou is a name used today in reference to the Kai Tahu village situated above Dunedin's harbour. But the name was not originally given to the land. Rather, the name was given to the channel of water that flows into the harbour. The modified version of the name, Ōtākou, is used today to describe the entire region.
So the name, to our understanding, was applied to the channel in the harbour, so Ōtākou, and again, there's been a lot of misinformation published that would suggest. So one suggestion was that it meant red ochre, and but that sort of, to our understanding, doesn't make sense. Ko is to come to a point, and if you look at that channel, it sort of comes to an abrupt end. If you're standing up on Paua Edwards' farm, you can see it very clearly. He pointed it out to us one day. It was a great trip. But so we suggesting perhaps it's about that coming to that abrupt end. But it was known as a awa, or a channel in the harbour, and it's that eastern channel. And even I remember reading an early European account, and they said they felt like they were in a river, in an awa, but it simply means channel, doesn't just mean river. But Ōtākou, yeah, and then in time, I guess, because like I said, there were many settlements, many villages around the peninsula, but one of the first European sort of settlements, if you like, when they came in to live amongst us, was just in front of where Ōtākou Marae is today. So that whole area, that name became applied to the land. But every village had its own name, every settlement. So there were many names for those kaika, for those places of residence, and now Ōtākou is but one of them.
Hui Ka'o is the traditional Māori name for the point of entrance into the Dunedin harbour. Unlike Ōtepoti, Ōtākou and Toitū, for most it is an unrecognised name.
So O again is like a current, and so it may be a place where those currents converge. So that's what that name means, Hui Ka'o. In many cases, they can be named after particular events or descriptors or activities that happen there, but then there are also names that have been applied, and we can't hand on heart tell you what they mean, and we believe they are old names. They come from an ancient homeland. Perhaps our people brought them to this place, and it may have reminded them of those other places, but yeah, so there's a real mixture. And like Tā Tipuni likes to remind us, it's yet to find a person who could tell you what London means, and it's an old name, and it's become a traditional name, just as our names here have been applied and are traditional to us.
Dunedin is a very special place. Its waterways have led many to its shores. Tauraka waka hold an enduring significance for Kai Tahu and Kai Tahu whānui. They are representative of events and people that permanently reshape the traditional Kai Tahu landscape. Remembering their names and understanding how those names are used today helps us to recognise the rich history of a place many call home. On the next episode of Toitu te whenua, join us as we navigate the currents of history. We will continue on our journey, exploring the original names of places around Dunedin. Focusing on the rivers and the since-drained lakes, we tell the story of the taniwha matamata and the different species that once thrived in the city streams. Stay tuned and mā te wā.